Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock podcast,
where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We have received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as leukocytosis and highfalutin, so I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
You know, Dr. London, you do these quick intros, but I would like to sort of sit for a second with the words you're saying. Dr. London is a quote machine. You've got all of these quotes. One of your quotes can sit like, I can remember where are my keys. You invented that. I've literally heard my dad and my grandma say those words.
Well, I usually say it at their house.
Yeah, of course.
Your dad and grandma's house.
But I've heard it on the internet, Dr. London. Like, you've expanded that phrase of where are my keys? It's impossible to find my keys. Please let me out of this trunk. Like all of these sort of things that have become sort of cultural phenomenon over the years.
Here's one of my frustrations with that, though. Because I have to pay every time someone uses it, right?
Yeah, that's royalties, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to find where to put the money. So I've been stashing money wherever I can stink it. But, like, I don't know if I'm doing it at the right spot. So, like, I've been getting pretty frustrated.
Have you been arrested or audited? Because if not, then it sounds like you putting it in those spots is working.
If I've been arrested, I'm almost positive it wasn't for this.
I would also say if you were arrested, your day-to-day life would change so little that it could be hard to differentiate between.
Because most of what I do is just look for places to stick money. And, like, I guess the square footage of prison would be less.
Yeah, I mean, your bedroom is 14 by 14 square feet. There's a toilet in the bedroom. There's a poster of the movie Wanted with James McAvoy, which is sort of implies that you've been in jail since like 2006 or 7 or whenever that movie came out. Let's see. You have a shiv, or I guess what you would call a shiv, which is a toothbrush filed down to a point, but it's not actually sharp enough to do anything. It's just sort of the shiv you used to threaten people.
Well, it's a toothpick, but, like, it's also a toothpick. And, whenever I keep saying, where are my keys? It is in reference to that room a lot of times because, like, one of the walls is actually just bars, so it's super drafty.
One of the walls is bars. One of the other walls has a window that is also covered in bars. I ask, is this the situation you wanted? And you usually ask, what are you willing to do for me? Which I usually say I didn't come here to negotiate. I came here as a favor because your kids aren't talking to you and your wife's not talking to you. I figure I could relate, sort of.
Well, like, I understand it on her, and we can get past this in a sec, but I do understand my wife not hugging me because, like, one time I tried to get the guard to hug me, and the bars really make it hard. Like, this
is part of the problem, London. I said your wife, hasn't visited you. And your fixation is, well, my wife hasn't hugged me. That is true. Your wife has not hugged you. She has also not been within like 300 miles of you. So hugging isn't even really an option for her. But your concern seems to be like, oh, well, she never hugs me anymore.
Well, if she, I could see, here's the thing. If she were in contact with me that close, she wouldn't even be able to hug me. So kind of why bother? Like, I get it.
Right. Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah. No, I guess that's very true. I would say, why is she involved at all at that point? If it's more,
Yeah. Not
but I guess it's
the guard and I have talked about this.
you say it's a custody battle over your hedgehog.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. And the royalties from that. So that's our producer Cameron. Also with us is Did You Know in the House? And later, Cameron tells me that we can expect a special guest.
That's right, Dr. London.
Yeah, so do look forward to that. But before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. So for a long time, our listener demographic was primarily composed of failed rat tamers. So like the aspiring rat tamers, I guess. They just really weren't that good at it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so those were our listeners. But we haven't been catering to our many bot listeners, and so we want to focus on them. So this one, this comes from a bot on YouTube, okay? This is a comment on our snippet on Dr. Hugh Morris's medical training. This is from @MaxLevelMedia7448. They said, quote, "Don't forget me when y'all huge, because this video is silly AF, or AF, and I love it," end quote. So thank you so much for this feedback. I think it's a good time to put a stop to the rumors. Yes, we are getting huge, but it's not steroids. We're not abusing steroids.
No. That people, I think it's the Marvel obsession. Like every Marvel star, gets organically super buff. But it's like, they're on some sort of illegal regimen, blah, blah, blah.
Like they go to the gym, probably. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they even use machines, like actual machines.
Which isn't natural.
Like robots.
That's not how nature does it.
Oh, yeah, no, let me just get this robot to work out my arms, and I'm going to say it's natural? No.
So we know it's illegal, whatever they're doing, that they use mechanical things. And like, this is just me kind of, I've heard that they don't have to go, like they just like get a thing where they can just push for a second and it won't be against like a tree. It'll be redirected the weight to like something else. It's like all these pulleys and like I've just rumors, but
no, I heard about that exact same thing just, 6 or 7 seconds ago.
Okay. Wow.
I literally just heard about that, like right now.
So like obviously it's something to worry about. Sorry. The other part of this question was they said, "Don't forget me when y'all huge." So far, I don't think my memory's been affected by my tree workout. I do push against the tree. That's how I work out.
Well, Dr. London, this is because we're not sort of thinking ahead. We are going to have to become sort of fame monsters, as they put it, if we want to sort of grow to the next level. And that's going to include, of course, forgetting all of our old fans, divorcing anyone we're married to.
Anyone.
Oh, gosh, I know. And also, like, cutting a deal with Frito-Lay.
Yeah.
That's the next level, Dr. London. We're at where we're at, but can you imagine going up one level and you're not promoting, like, chili cheese Fritos? Imagine it. I'm trying. Oh, let me imagine. Can't imagine it because it doesn't make sense.
Well, clearly we have we got a lot to strategize, I guess. But thank you so much for that feedback. We have another. This is from TikTok. This is a comment on our response to, if you really don't know what PPL meant, not went, I apologize. This is from @Escopy. They said, quote, "Thoughts on Tyler, the Creator?" End quote. So thank you so much for that feedback. The creator is actually named God, not Tyler.
No, yeah.
So,
Amen.
Yeah. So I've heard the mistake before. Just just watch out for that, I guess, in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, the creator being God, and then Tyler, the creator, is God's stepson, Tyler.
Oh yeah,
Of course. I mean, sort of the lead of Odd Future, Wolfgang, Kill Them All, Frank Ocean, Earl Sweatshirt, that sort of entire group. But you do have to accept that Tyler, at best, is God's stepson. Wait, and that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a special place. Like, I feel like if, Tyler got pulled over by the cops and needed someone to vouch for him, I'm sure God would be like, hey, it's my stepson, I'll say something about it.
That's not what I've heard about the relationship.
I don't know, but I'm saying, I bet that would be at least be in play. But on a day-to-day basis, is Tyler, should he have the creator name? No.
No. I try not to think about Tyler the Creator that much because of that. So thoughts on him? I avoid him. I guess is really the answer.
I just want I was over at God's house Thursday, right? And we were supposed to pick up Tyler the Creator from school. Tyler the Creator is 33 years old. We were supposed to pick him up from rap school. And I literally, the creator looked at me and said, what if we just didn't pick him up? I'm kind of just chilling right now. What if we just hang? And I had to talk him out of it. I was like, well, Tyler's expecting us to pick him up. He's got a tour to go on later. He had that Adult Swim show 9 years ago.
Hold on. This reminds me. Do you remember when you were hanging out with God and his biological son? He was like, should I ditch him? Let him go up. And then he
I don't want to. So, sidebar, Dylan, just sidebar this. I owe that guy $35.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to just
not bring it up. Okay.
Or just pretend that I've never, I don't have the 35.
Yeah.
If you do, then sure, we can solve this right now. But
No, do not bring me into no.
Okay.
So to that, on the sidebar, and to that listener, thank you so much for that feedback. That's really helpful for our podcast. Now for today's medical topic: hereditary nephritis or Alport Syndrome. So hereditary nephritis, Alport Syndrome, it's a congenital, genetic defect of collagen that results in glomerular disease combined with a sensory neural hearing loss and visual disturbance from the loss of the collagen fibers that hold the lens of the eye in place.
Yes. Genitals that look like cauliflower. This is something that I have been learning a lot about recently. And I want to hear more about it. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah. When you're this excited about the medical lesson, I always get apprehensive. But yes, because you like learning. Since this is Alport Syndrome, I remember it by imagining a worst-case scenario helicopter pilot, one with hearing and visual problems, trying to land a chopper at the airport, and also they're peeing blood because this is a kidney thing. So hereditary nephritis or Alport Syndrome usually occurs in male patients, but does appear intermittently in females. Clinically, they tend to present with hematuria, which is blood in the urine. They can also have proteinuria, which is a loss of protein in the urine, as well as high blood pressure. And classically, patients with hereditary nephritis or Alport syndrome, they have that sensory neural hearing loss that begins by late childhood or early adolescence. And they also have the eye thing that I talked about, the anterior lenticonus, which presents over time with progressively worsening vision, requiring frequent changes in lens prescriptions.
And this is one of those things that's tempting on vacation to take, like London was saying, a helicopter ride somewhere. And you're going to feel like maybe even the pilot is like, hey, do you want to pilot the helicopter for a little bit? Do not do it. The result of this is exactly what London was talking about. What were you saying if people did helicopters? Cauliflower penis, blood in the pee, just like short ball syndrome or whatever.
Yeah, and that's because of bad flying, right?
That's what you said. Yes, I'm learning all this right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And this is the tragic part of it. There's actually no specific therapy to reverse this defect of type 4 collagen.
Yes. And this is, I would say, the most common aspect of every single one of our medical lessons is that here's your disease. Doctors can do nothing about it, but you should still go to the doctor and give them money so they can tell you that. This has been the theme of, I would say, at least 30 to 40 of our medical lessons.
It's a decent amount. But like the thing is, eventually we know how the disease works, so that's pretty good. And then it's eventually you can figure out a way to do something about it.
Yes. Yeah, it's like how, DNA testing has gotten so advanced in the last few years. And so police have been able to solve cold cases from like the late 1800s, like just in the last 5 or 6 years. And I'm sure the people from that time are so appreciative that their murder was discovered 135 years later.
Yeah, what a relief for them. Yeah.
Oh God, the fact that their DNA was like kept intact for that moment. Of course they're happy.
Yeah. History buffs rejoice. So all you history buffs who come back to listen to this podcast and remember a time when we couldn't cure hereditary nephritis. Hooray! All right, well, Cameron, you said that we have a special guest today. Is that right?
That is right, Dr. Linden. We have an extremely special guest today. In fact, this is a first-time guest.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess so we have to make a good impression. How do you do that?
How do I make a good first impression?
Yeah, I've never had to do this before.
I would say zip your pants up. There's no reason.
I don't think they'd go that way.
Okay.
Well, I guess. Hello there. My name is drlemonsmith.com. This is our producer, Cameron. What was your name?
Well, hello. My name is Tony the Wonder Llama, and I'm the sexiest, sultriest lounge singer this side of the Mississippi. And I do mean East.
Okay, good. That was legitimately going to be my first question. Okay. Well, it's good to know we're all east of the Mississippi. Because, like, that came up in trivia the other day at the bar, and, like, I had no idea. They didn't reveal it at the end. They're just like, if you don't know, you don't know.
I've had my mistakes in the past.
Well, London specifically said, it's easy to remember East versus West because East is beast and West is best. And I keep saying none of that will help you keep track of which one is which. Like none of those will help.
I don't think you heard me.
You figure out what is on a map or which
East is beast,
which is right or left.
You
keep saying this, but you use both interchangeably. I don't think East is beast has helped you determine that East is on the right side.
Well, right doesn't rhyme at all.
Okay. Yeah, and this is sort of the problem that Dr. London, has sort of run into lately.
So Tony, now that we've established, I think pretty firmly, Tony, you could agree that obviously we are East, and you know that because Beast. So what brings you here today?
Well, medically, I'm half man, half pea.
Pee as in urine.
So when my parents had sex wrong, and then I was born genetically half man, half pea.
Okay. Now, and this is going to be a weird question to ask. Feel free to not answer, okay? But like, how do you know that they did it wrong? Like, did they tell you about it? Did they like? Because I when my parents tell me about what they do wrong, especially with sexual stuff, then I don't like it. I don't like to hear it. And I do a lot of the covering my ears and saying la 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 la.
The Wonder Llama family is unfortunately very open sexually. Unfortunately.
That's rough. Like a dog barking.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does this manifest the half urine? I mean, I'm looking at you, but you're extremely clothed, so it's hard to tell.
Well, I was born a pitcher of pee. This is my childhood portrait behind me. I was actually born in a toilet bowl, but my mother saved me, thank God. And yeah, I was a talking pitcher of pee for the first portion of my life, and just one day I self-actualized. I became a person, and I got a body. But it is kind of a stinky body.
Yeah, I mean the llama aspect is really interesting to me. Like you sort of had so much self-awareness that you became into being, but you're being, I mean, I'm looking at you right now. To say you're a half human, half llama, or however you were putting it.
Llama
you're just a llama.
is a family name. Wonder Llama is a stage.
Yeah. No, I get it. You were saying I'm a human, I'm half piss. You have 4 legs, long neck. You've been eating grass this entire time. I think that's part of the issue is you're focusing on this combination between man and piss monster, which is where you come from, and are ignoring the fact that you have been spitting in my face for quite a while, which is...
I've spit in people's face and not noticed that I was doing that. That's just one of these, like, it's...
Right. Oh, of course. Everyone has been chewing cud and instantly just spit in someone's face because they were a little too close. Everyone's done that.
But yeah, to establish the most weird part, I guess, even that feels rude to say, but like the most unusual, unique aspect of yourself, I do think it is strange to be, to be born as a liquid and then turn into a solid. And your specific traits as a liquid then a solid do seem pretty distant to me. So it's... Has a doctor looked at you before?
I don't think the doctor knew what he was looking at. I think.
Okay. Yeah. I felt that way
I
in
can
the
tell
toilet
you,
before.
when I was born, they thought, it was a finger. That wasn't a finger.
Okay. I've heard that phrase a lot before. They thought it was a finger. It turned out to not be a finger. But
I came together piece by piece.
This is a sort of party trick for Dr. London where he puts his index finger through his shorts zipper, and then he goes around saying, where's my finger? Have you seen my finger?
yeah, I'm really worried when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is my party trick.
Imagine being a pitcher of urine and then you have a
Okay.
little cauliflower genitalia sticking out,
Okay.
and people think it's a finger, and they poke at it.
Okay.
And that like gets you off, or like what's the
That was problematic too. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I was not expecting.
Yeah, getting me off is problematic as well. I understand. So
Yeah.
like what are you wanting out of, like, I'm just the producer, I'm not the doctor, but like what do you think Dr. London could help with in your situation?
I'm trying to find my son.
Oh boy. Okay.
This has been a popular subject actually on this podcast. I think not that long ago, or maybe it was a while ago, I mentioned that my favorite 90s fad was everyone looking for my son. I thought that was really cool. That like everyone like got together and it was on TV and shit, and it was like, oh, we're all just like looking for my son. That didn't happen or whatever. But where have you looked under my house? This has been one of those things that a lot of our guests on this podcast have had missing children, and they've been able to find their bones underneath my house. So have you checked?
Well, I'll ask. What is your plumbing like down there? Because I feel like that might help me.
Full of bones, I would think.
Well, I'm not looking for bones. I'm looking for urine.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Yeah, I would say I have very solid plumbing, except for when it gets clogged with the bones.
Don't think he's.
There's a lot of.
Don't think he's actualized yet. I think he's still pee.
Okay. Because
I mean,
there's definitely. I've seen urine in Cameron's house for sure, and I've definitely smelled it too.
Did it talk? Did it talk? What?
Interesting. Well, so London, when London stays over, he usually crashes out first, and of course the first guy to crash out, you draw a penis on his face, and then you take your penis out, and then you pee into his face.
Yeah,
so,
and the reason you draw it on is just to let him know, hey, this is what I did, in case it dries up.
It's like a
they
target,
wake
so
up.
I don't forget. Because otherwise I'm going to be peeing on the couch or whatever. So, Dr. London, did you come to any, like, realizations in that moment?
I had this dream that I was swimming.
Yeah. Okay. Does that answer the question?
I was asleep.
I do want to be clear. In my experience, you cannot have a child from oral pee. Like it really is only P and V.
Yeah, like vaginal pee. Okay. I mean, Dr. Linden, would you say that's what we experienced?
I think what I once again, I wasn't even like awake enough to really know or be aware.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't the most consensual experience I've ever had.
Yeah, so anything in this example, anything I did was rape, basically. So that's good to know. Now I would say, just remembering this experience,
it's inconsequential because of where on my body it was.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was about to say. Like, what we're talking about is a growth on your back that, yes, one could only describe as a vagina. Like, I don't think there's another description that would accurately depict the sort of tumor that was growing on your back.
And I'll say in your defense here, I was asleep, so I didn't even.
London was asleep. This was 2007. Juno was in theaters. Like Juno, Hamburger Phone, Rainn Wilson at a gas station.
Yeah. But I would say the other names for it would be like Beaver or Box. Like people have called the growth on my back all that.
Snatch.
Does this answer your question?
I never thought of going the Videodrome route before. I think it'll definitely help me have another child.
Yeah. And are you looking to have more children?
I really like the one I had. You know, he was a real piece of me.
Well, wow. I think we covered a lot of ground here. Some people say about our podcast that there's really always this arc, and you can really tell how everything we start and then we pick up on something and then we really find a solution. And this is no exception.
The arcs from episode to episode, how many references in this episode could you find from the last 500 episodes? A lot.
A whole lot.
We've been dropping in these Easter eggs every single minute.
Mm-hmm. Every episode is standalone unless you listen to 2 of them, and then it's mostly repetition. So thank you so much to Tony. You've been great. Is there anyone that you'd like to shout out? Anyone you're a fan of, like who does sketch comedy or anything?
Number one, I do want to say I do have good news. I have to go, which might mean I might have another kid coming.
Yes. Now?
I'm holding it in. I do just want to say, my friend Hunter M Altman, he is a host of a comedy show called Go Sketch Yourself. He also has a film out on Amazon VOD right now called Carmen G, which you can go watch. It is also about a horrible parent-child situation gone terribly wrong in a much different direction. But he has nothing to do with me.
I at this time, I would also like to plug another Amazon movie, Undercover Kids, which is a movie that was made 25 years ago for $700, and it features a guy named London Smith and his little sister, and his little sister is dubbed over by another random person.
For almost but not quite the whole movie.
Yes, for everything except for one line, I believe.
I think it's 3 lines, but yes.
Well, I will tell you, Carmen G, I was written in 2010. It has finally come out now, and it is all in the Spanish language.
And Dr. London, can you say, does Undercover Kids have a Spanish translation?
If you'd want to bring a translator for the movie.
Yeah. That's the interactive part, is that if people want to see Dr. London's movie, they would have to bring a translator.
Yeah.
With them.
just be sure to do that. Anyway, thank you so much to Tony the Wonder Llama. Thank you to our producer Cameron. Thank you to Digital the Host.